Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 106 of our trip around the United States. This morning we're shooting from Sherwood Forest in Woodland Park, right on the outskirts of Norfolk. We were not in a big hurry to get our day started today, so it's a little bit late, pushing on to noon now, and we're just starting it into our miles. Fortunately, it's not a tough day. In fact, the next few days are comparatively easy to what we just did in the northwest part of the state. Those were long jumps with few geocache options. We were striving to get those counties and pages and just barely making it with one and dones for most of them. That is over for us. The next few days are going to be short hops in areas with lots of geocache options and actual real people. Not the plywood cutout kind, real live human beings. It's really cool. Our route for today only has 130 miles. We're just gonna wind our way out of Norfolk and make our way into Omaha, and that's it. Once we get to Omaha, we'll geocache until the sun goes down, and we get what we get, and we miss what we miss. Originally, we were gonna go after 2 virtuals near Omaha that required a lot of time investment to go get. Well, both of those have been archived. That freed up a couple hours on our plan that we're definitely gonna be able to use to geocache in Omaha. Between here and there, we've got some fun targets picked out, and we think it's gonna be a pretty good day. That wind is all gone, and it's not raining down on us, so as far as I'm concerned, this is perfect weather, and that's a sign that it's going to be a perfect geocaching day. So come along with us and let's see what it has in store. Let's go! Hopping on US Highway 35 out of Norfolk, it only takes about 15 minutes to reach Woodland Park. There are 5 geocaches in town, all hidden by the same owner on February 29th. While the date is desirable, every single cache is in a pine tree, so we ended up finding one and jetting out of town. Dropping into Oakland, one of 2 Swedish capitals of Nebraska, we ended up going after the only geocache in town. Fortunately, that geocache just happened to be located in the Oakland City Park, which was a beautiful place to ensure the dog got another walk. In Tekamah, we stopped for one of the 2 geocaches in town located near the public library. Impressively, there are only 3 sentences worth of information on the geocache page, all of which are wrong. And to make the hunt that much more interesting, the coordinates are inaccurate as well. Still frustrated by a slew of pine tree hides in Woodland Park, I decided not to mess with it at all, and instead made my way over to the courthouse where we could check out the Veterans Memorial. This was a great spot to collect my composure again before we decided to chase after the other geocache in town. Fortunately, the other listing was much better and even had coordinates that were at the right location. I've been asking myself Whiskey Tango Foxtrot for the last 2 hours, but now I have the answer to that question. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. These are some cute foxes right here, and if you listen closely, you might even hear what they have to say. That's one riddle solved. After a long morning of undesirable geocache finds and more DNFs than I care to talk about, this is a very welcome find. Yeah. Okay, now this hunt has got to be in my favor. The listing says it's an ammo can clearly on the page. But wait, what's that in this tree? Touché. At first I was disappointed because the listing said it was an ammo can. You got me. It's an ammo can, all right. Well played. After a series of good finds on fresh geocaches in Blair, we were feeling pretty good about the rest of the day and made our way over to Fort Calhoun so we could visit the Fort Atkinson State Historical Park. This was the first site of an 1804 council between the Lewis and Clark expedition and members of the Ottawa and Missouri Native American tribes. Taking a short walk down the trail from the parking area, you can view a statue which commemorates this historical event. William Clark recommended the high bluff overlooking the Missouri River to the U.S. government as a suitable location to build a fort. 15 years later, President James Monroe dispatched a military expedition to establish a series of forts along the Missouri, and this was one of the sites that was chosen. The post's population included over 1,000 military personnel. The fortification consisted of a rectangular arrangement of 1-story barracks fashioned of horizontal logs. The structures faced inward upon an enclosed parade ground with loopholes on the exterior walls. And 4 entrances were located near the center of those 4 walls. Moving over to the rear of the fort site provides you a fantastic view over the bluff it rests on as well. Next up is the Cache Across America, Nebraska, which brings you to Bellevue Cemetery on the southeast outskirts of Omaha.
Here you can visit the gravesite of Big Elk, a principal chief of the Omaha tribe for many years on the upper Missouri River. His speech to his people on Western expansion is still memorialized to this day. I can no longer think for you and lead you as in my younger days. You must think for yourselves, that you may be prepared for the coming change. Speak kindly to one another. Do what you can to help each other, even in the troubles with the coming tide. After solving for the multi-cache, you get to walk out on a trail which is not located too far away from the cemetery, and are treated to a nice ammo can as your reward for the find.
Yes, Cache Across America, Nebraska. As I've mentioned before, I've already completed this series, but it is a fun one to do. There are 51 geocaches scattered all across the US, one in each state. The geocaches tend to be very good at good locations. This is one to put on the must-do list. And I was already out here for this weird slice of the DeLorme page, so it definitely made sense to drop by and grab this Cache Across America too. And they also all come with a code word, just like that. So after Nebraska, where my thumb is, there's a number. You want to collect all the numbers from each of the Cache Across America geocaches as you move through the series.
Before taking on the hiking trails for DeLorme page 55B, Aichun got a chance to meet a new friend in the Jewel Dog Park. This big boy may not look it, but he is only an 8-month-old puppy. He really just wants to play, and Aichun has to tell him that she doesn't play like that anymore. But they figured each other out, and after a while had a good time together. Obviously, he has a lot more energy to run around than she does. She prefers to stay in place and snap a little bit as her form of play.
Here's where the pages start to make things interesting. We've already completed the other counties and the pages around Omaha, but we did not have anything in 55B. If you look at the map right here, it looks like there's a lot of geocaches in the area that you can get for the page. But take a closer look at the page itself, and it only hits this one small area. And in that area, there was only 2 geocaches, but there were recently 2 more placed, so a total of 4 in this one little tiny slice of a page section.
The trails here definitely provided a good opportunity to finish our day off with a hike, which is just what Aichun needs before bedtime.
Oh my goodness, this was not an easy one to get to. It is a steep slope going straight down from here, and it's a steep slope going straight back up as well. And it's all clay, so it's really thick underfoot. But we got the geocache right here. This was a big one.
All right, Aichun, just one more find down this trail and we can go back to the car and call it a day. Come on, let's do it.
This is a fortunate stroke of good luck. I'd given up on this geocache. I was making my way out with Aichun, and we cut across to get back to the upper trail, and happened to stumble right onto the geocache. Yeah, man. Whoa! Here. And the logbook is here. And the 35mm, isn't that cute? And so ends another day of geocaching out here in Nebraska. Today turned out a lot differently than we thought it was going to. Initially, we had 130 miles with a short target list, and I thought to myself, we're gonna do everything on the list. Well, as we like to say in my field, the best laid plans only survive the first round downrange. The very first geocaches out of the gate were all pine tree hides, which I have no love for. So I DNF'd a couple until I finally found one, then I was out of there. After that, it only got worse. Most of the targets that we had on the list were either archived, disabled, had long strings of DNFs, or were just not fun geocaches. But we managed to find 1 or 2 in each place, and by the time we got to Blair, things had started to come back together. We had a good time there, found a lot of good new geocaches, and from there made our way into Omaha, where we had a lot more fun today. It was great to get to finish off the day with a Cache Across America while we did that little tiny page slice for 55, which there is not a lot of options for. Tomorrow's going to be another short day. We're going to make our way into Lincoln. I'd like to say we're going to aim to do our whole target list, but if today is any indication, I won't make any such claim. Either way, we're set up for another good day of geocaching and looking forward to it. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.